But let's get to it. The Secretary General of the ANC on this day, the 6th of January, will, accompanied, by the way, by the Provincial Secretary of the Northwest Province, Comrade Louis Ramelo, because we are currently in the Northwest. Also accompanied, I am accompanied by the provincial spokesperson of the ANC. We are not coming here to discuss matters that pertain to January 8th. We will be doing that in detail on Thursday at a walkabout at the stadium where the SG will address members of the media on our state of readiness. Today we are addressing a different matter that is of grave concern to humanity and the peoples of the world, the matter pertaining to the situation in Venezuela. I will then call on the SG to read out our statement, after which we will take questions. Comrade SG.
The podium is full. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the media, Comrade Mahlengi, and the provincial spokesperson, the provincial secretary, Comrade Louis Ramelo, ladies and gentlemen of the media, compliments of the new year to all of you. The African National Congress condemns the recent acts of aggression directed at the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, which constitutes a serious violation of international law, national sovereignty, and the principles governing peaceful relations between states. The kidnapping of Comrade President Nicolas Maduro, his wife, Comrade Celia Flores, and son, Nicolas Ernesto Maduro, undermines the United Nations Charter and threatens global peace and stability at a time when the world requires cooperation, restraint, and dialogue. The ANC expresses its solidarity with the people of Venezuela, who continue to endure sustained political, economic, and diplomatic pressure. As a liberation movement forged in struggle against colonialism, apartheid, and external domination, the ANC recognizes that such aggression is seldom accidental. It is often driven by contests over strategic resources, control of markets, and resistance to the independent development paths chosen by sovereign nations of Global South. The ANC reiterates that international law must be respected by all states without exception or selectivity. The principles of sovereign equality, non-interference, and peaceful resolution of disputes are the bedrock of a just international order. Their selective application erodes trust, fuels instability, and disproportionately harms developing countries and oppressed people across the globe. The ANC further cautions that the current situation must be understood within the broader economic and geopolitical struggle. Venezuela is being targeted because of its insistence on sovereignty over its natural resources and economic policy choices. In a similar vein, The ANC's own historic struggle for economic transformation, equitable access to resources, and fair trade relations continues to face resistance from reactionary forces opposed to fundamental change. This confirms that the real contest is over economic justice and who benefits from global wealth. Guided by the principled position articulated by Istwalandwe Siaparankwe, President Nelson Mandela, and I quote, "We fought injustice wherever we found it, no matter how large or how small, and we fought injustice to preserve our own humanity." The ANC consistently condemns injustice irrespective of who perpetrates it. The movement therefore calls for restraint, de-escalation, and a return to dialogue through multilateral institutions. The ANC urges the United Nations and the UN Security Council to act swiftly and decisively to uphold international law, prevent further escalation and a humanitarian crisis, and ensure protection of civilian lives. The ANC notes with appreciation the solidarity expressed by progressive states and forces within multilateral platforms, including during recent G20 engagements, and emphasizes that fragmented or hesitant responses cannot defeat imperialism. It requires unity of purpose, resilient leadership, and principled international cooperation, particularly among nations of the Global South. The ANC further calls on peace-loving people in our country, across the continent, and around the world, including within the United States, to call for the immediate and unconditional release of President Maduro and his wife, Comrade Celia Flores. The world must reject all actions that undermine democracy, international law, and human dignity. The devastating humanitarian consequences of war, sanctions, and economic coercion must remain central to the conscience of the global community. The ANC reaffirms its commitment to a just, multipolar, and rules-based international order, grounded in the equality between nations, respected for sovereignty and solidarity among peoples. The interdependence of nations demands cooperation rather than confrontation, and development rather than domination. Only through collective action can humanity confront its shared challenges and advance a more peaceful, equitable, and sustainable world. Our understanding of what has happened to Venezuela as the African National Congress can be summed up as nothing else but imperialist aggression. And the United States and the Trump administration, in particular, imposing itself as the world policeman. The Freedom Charter correctly states, "There shall be peace and friendship. Let all people who love their people and their country now say, as we say, these freedoms we will fight for, side by side, throughout our lives, until we have won our liberty." To this extent, we have resolved to work with all the progressive forces in our country and mobilize against the American imperialist aggression, including against our own country. Folding arms, looking on, and doing nothing will mean that we have abandoned the cause of fighting for justice. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade SG. Having delivered the much-awaited message of the ANC, I will at this point turn to yourselves, colleagues, to take questions. Shall I start on the left? I will start on the left. Alpha. Let us all please introduce ourselves.
Good morning. Morning, it's Alpha Ramushwana here, a journalist from Eyewitness News.
I come from a place where there was no pen or paper. I need something to write. No, I do have a pen. As the Secretary General. But I don't have the paper.
Okay,
Hold on, just hold on, yes.
I see it's being attended to.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Alpha Ramushwana here, a journalist at Eyewitness News. So, Mr. Malula, clearly Donald Trump is trigger happy and Eyewitness News. Clearly, Donald Trump is trigger happy and has said in media interviews that Venezuela is not his only target. He's mentioned that Mexico and Cuba are up next on his list. I want to know, it's not a secret that South Africa and the USA are enemies right now, according to Donald Trump. Is South Africa's defenses ready to handle or accept any eventuality when it comes to the United States? We've seen Maduro has been captured. We can't lie and say, you know, the same can't happen in South Africa. Do you think our defenses are ready for any eventuality? Thanks.
Thank you, Alpha. Ule?
Oh yeah, Puleli Treaty Jones, ENCA, Secretary General. Our first question, is the ANC set to engage the Government of National Unity partners, including the Freedom Front Plus? We've heard or seen the statements by Dr. Kone Mulder in which he welcomes what the US has done in Venezuela. That's one. Two, veto power is the authority to unilaterally stop a proposed action. What kind of swift action are you hoping to see from the United Nations Security Council? Given the fact that what like Alpha, my colleague, is saying, we know that Trump wants to also target Greenland as well. So what kind of swift action are you hoping to see? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ENCA. I proceed to Newsroom Africa.
Thank you, Ms. Matling. Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. Firstly, SG, the US has characterized this invasion of Venezuela as a legitimate law enforcement process, basically. So from your statement, can we take it to say that the ANC does not believe this? And secondly, has there been any engagement? I know that the ANC has received a briefing from the International Relations Minister. Has there been any engagement between South Africa and Washington? And then another issue that was raised yesterday when we were speaking to some of the members of the NEC, they seem to wish that the ANC or South Africa as a whole would take the matter to the International Court of Justice. Is this something that the ANC and the South African government are considering? And just to add on what Alpha and Pule spoke about, the tensions between South Africa and the US, this stance that is being taken by the ANC, do you think that it's going to cause further tensions between the two countries? And is there any fear that there might be any retaliation from the US? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody there to the left of the room? Okay, don't see anyone. Anybody to the right? No one. I will then at this stage ask the SG to tackle those questions.
Thank you very much. The issue eyewitness news, in our view, is not about the readiness of defense. We reject militarism. That's the first point. America is a powerful force militarily, and if they want to invade any country, they can do so. And that is why we reject unipolarism. We advocate for multipolar state, multipolarism state, and unilateralism. The United States, when they went to Iraq and Afghanistan, they said there were weapons of mass destruction. We know South Africa and the ANC were part of the voices, including Nelson Mandela, that this was nothing else but a war and militarism action and unilateral action by the United States disguised as such. But it's an aggression against an independent state. Me and you, we are still alive today. Where is Iraq? Where is Afghanistan? They withdrew from Afghanistan. Taliban is still in charge there. Iraq is a lawless state, and they left it like that. Equally, we know that the interest in Iraq were nothing else but also about oil. And they hanged Saddam Hussein, fine and good, but at the end of the day, what did the war of Iraq and Afghanistan breed? It further escalated terrorism to unparalleled proportions across the globe. So, their military action against any other state is nothing else but aggression. That they can do. They are very powerful, but we cannot cower and allow unilateral actions go unchallenged by the progressive forces across the globe. ENCA, GNU partners, we do have reactionary forces within the GNU and even here in South Africa, and we are not party to them. GNU is not a melting pot. Konemelda and what he expresses is not a view that is shared by the progressive forces in South Africa. Even those who are within and outside the GNU have condemned what has happened in Venezuela. And we've got a shared perspective, and that is why we talk about building a popular front against imperialist aggression. Because in our country, for whatever that will happen to this nation by the United States of America, there are people who are going to come up front and support not only the ANC, but national interest, defending our sovereignty. Konemelda will not do that, and many others. We know their stance against Venezuela and all of that, and so on, and why they wanted Comrade Maduro to be arrested. Even the threats they are pursuing now against the people of Cuba. Cuba has been under blockade of the United States for many years. And as the ANC, we have always been opposed to that because the Cuban people are punished for what they believe in and what they stand for. And that is why we have condemned and campaigned for many years for the freedom and self-determination of the Cuban people. And that is what we are about as the African National Congress. What action do we hope for? Security Council must take action and against the United States of America, not to impose itself on other countries as a world police, as Donald Trump is actually doing right now. We are dealing with a person who decides the fate of countries, like countries are banana republics. And that is what is happening now. Newsroom, the that action of the United States cannot be legitimate. It can never be legitimate. The Secretary of State of the United States of America says he doesn't care about the United Nations and what the United Nations think. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, says they invaded Venezuela, among others. The key and the primary reason is oil. And they are going to send their companies there and everything else. And then they will distribute that oil as they wish to everybody. And therefore, they impose a regime change in Venezuela. And then they charge a sitting president and kidnap that particular president and charge him in the United States of America. That is ruthless. That is aggression. It's beyond aggression. And therefore, you want us to keep quiet when we see such an injustice being meted upon a people. We will campaign, mobilize, conscientize our people against the United States' imperialist aggression. And the African National Congress will do that. We've got nothing to engage with imperialist aggressors because we and them do not share the same understanding of how things must be done. America accused us of genocide when we told them that there is no genocide. They said Maduro is being charged for narcotics, terrorism. And when they told them that, no, there is no such. And the real reason for that is the question of oil, economic aggression against the people of Venezuela. Taking the matter to the international court, we will await that. If there will be anyone, we will actually do that. We have not taken that decision. There are no tensions. The tensions between the United States and South Africa were aggravated and deliberately put into place by the Donald Trump administration. Our president left South Africa and went to the United States of America to explain to Donald Trump that there is no genocide, defending his country, an action we supported. When he got there, they played him a movie about Julius Malema. And then that was the end of the story. And then from there, they boycotted G20. They banned us from G20, even the preparatory meetings that took place in Miami, and they sent us a clerk to G20 here in South Africa. What else do you want us to do? We did nothing against America. We're being attacked, mobilizing reactionary forces within our country on the basis of racial supremacy against the laws of transformation, wanting to impose Starlink against the laws of transformation in our country, something we rejected. That's what has happened. We did nothing. We are the second biggest trading partner with the United States of America. Our country is being attacked and isolated for no reason. And as the ANC, a matter which we reject, and we are being attacked in the guise of genocide. There's no genocide. Donald Trump called on white South Africans to apply and go to America. 49 car guards left our country. Car guards left our country. We are a peaceful nation here in this country. We are building a non-racial society. We are addressing the historical imbalances of the past, that we were not economically equal, and that the most disadvantaged, the poorest of the poor, it is Africans in particular and black people in general. And that is what we are about. And therefore, there is no retreat on that. If we are going to be punished by this administration because of our transformation laws, it is not something we will be prepared to retreat on. I saw some people saying that what happened in Venezuela must happen in South Africa. How do you even wish for such madness to happen in a democratic state, a constitutional state? Yeah, we have a government of national unity. We coexist with reactionary forces, including Conemelders of this world. We are with them in government. And then you come and say that a government of this nature, a democratic state, must be isolated, must be attacked. For what? For what? And therefore we must cower and therefore cover our faces and lose our voice and not be in solidarity with others because we are afraid. Even with Russia, we never took sides. Our president traveled 10 hours to Ukraine and left Ukraine and went to Russia. Zelensky has been here in our country, forging peace and interceding and becoming an interlocutor in the relations between the two countries, urging them to talk peace and do away with the conflict of war. We never took sides. We never lost our voice, even if others disagreed with us. But we said that let there be peace between the two countries. So we have never folded our arms. When Iraq and Afghanistan were attacked, we condemned that. Why do South Africans forget that? When the Palestinians were being annihilated by the Israelis, we advocated for a two-state solution, and then we condemned the genocide and the killing of innocent people. We condemn equally the actions of Hamas in terms of kidnapping of people. And when innocent people were killed in Palestine, we went to the International Court of Justice to bring an end to that barbaric war and genocide that is happening there. So we have never lost our voice. We have used our voice not to dominate others, but to persuade, use our voice for peace in the world. And that will not stop, and it will not stop now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SG. I think that does it with this briefing, which in fact, the statement that is referred to, we officially are naming it the message of the ANC. Thank you very much, colleagues. We are adjourned.
So just a humble request, when you might just a summary, please.
Please, SG.
Sithi singumbutho wesizwe